All right. Good afternoon from the East Coast, and I think just about getting afternoon in the Pacific side of USA. So, welcome everyone. Uh, we are hosting the Holistic Health Alliance monthly community talks, and today we have Dr. Jyun and Isabel who are going to be presenting about a very interesting topic. And before I hand over the mic to them, I'm going to speak a few words about Holistic Health Alliance and what we do. Holistic Health Alliance. So, first of all, I'm the founder president of the nonprofit, and I'm myself an Ayurvedic practitioner. And this is my profession as well as passion. So, can't get better than that, right? I get to follow what I love, and that's my profession as well. So, very, very blessed and privileged. So, in a nutshell, I just want to say a few words about Holistic Health Alliance. We are a nationally launched 501c3 nonprofit. We are currently in two states, Massachusetts and Colorado. But hopefully, slowly, we are going to be in some other states also. Some work is going on. The goals of Ayurveda are simple. Holistic Health Alliance are simple. Number one goal is to bring together the community of holistic practitioners because there is strength in numbers, and Holistic Health Alliance aims to support, to connect, to uplift, to highlight, promote holistic practitioners. Right now in United States, we do not have one single unified platform that brings all streams of holistic practitioners together. We have separate yoga directories, massage directories, energy healers, but not one platform that brings all of us together. So that is one of our main goals. And we do have practitioners from different states in our directory. The second main goal of Holistic Health Alliance, as our website tagline states, is building healthy communities. So toward that, we do events like these monthly talks and other events which pre-COVID used to be in person also. But basically going out there and educating the community what else is out there in addition to just popping pills. What else can you do? Can you just have a cup of ginger tea instead of, putting that strong chemical in your body? So our talks are aimed at highlighting some of the other resources that are available in the form of the practitioners, in the form of the practices, and also educate them how it's not just all about the body. It's also about your mental well-being, it's about your social well-being. So your whole, that's what holistic means, basically, that we're not just focusing on the physical well-being. So really going out into the community, and it's very interesting because there are many myths about holistic practices. Acupuncture uses needles, so it must be painful, for example. So we have actually gone into the community, and our acupuncturist has, actually done the demos, and we have had kids with needle on their forehead giggling. So there can't be a better testimonial than that. And then the most pet project that I'm really, really proud of is the Youth Brigade, where we are bringing health into the conversations of youth, because right now nobody's talking to them about health. So please check out our website, www.holistichealthalliance.org, and holistic starting with a W. There is a story of W on the website. So once again, www.holistic spelled with a W, WHO, Holistic Health Alliance, all one word, .org. And we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and right now, very proud to say a high schooler is maintaining our Instagram posts, and she does research, sleep, nutrition, breathing properly, this, that. So, she herself is becoming very empowered. So that's, this is how organically we are trying to weave the community into healthful practices. And I'm going to quickly just show you this is our flyer. If anybody is a holistic practitioner anywhere, we see Dr. Jun and Isabel have joined from California. We have Mrudula who has joined from Arizona. So we have practitioners from different states, cities. So wherever you are, come and join your tribe and let's all be stronger together. All right. So with that, I'm going to welcome Dr. Jyun and Isabel. You're looking fantastic, both of you. So over to you. Please introduce yourself, and I can't wait to hear your presentation.
Well, thank you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. So I'm
Welcome.
Dr. Isabel. I'm an integrative dentist. I have been a dentist for 22 years. But my passion to share knowledge with the patients and to make them aware that there is more, as Dr. Pert was saying, more than prescription medication. There is more to health, and we have all the tools within ourselves to be able to be healthy and to achieve well being. So we decided after finishing a PhD in integrative medicine, where I met Dr. June, we decided to join forces and start sharing our knowledge with people. And we work as co-creators with the clients and with people to achieve specific results. Our experiences is that we need to be in a state of flow to be able to achieve balance, to be able to achieve health and well-being. And that's what we are sharing. We are just sharing with the world with experienced people, experienced practitioners, holistic practitioners, all the knowledge that they have, so then they can share it with the world.
Yes. So
Wonderful.
yes, we are very passionate about just imparting our awareness to expand into towards well-being through the ancient wisdom with and the modern science with technologies. So this is where the all this beauty of between the old and the new is emerging. How can I integrate and how can I help them from the more collective ways? So this is where we came up, and then what we like to talk about today in the title that we presenting as a connection between emotions and the bodies.
So we're going to share the screen so you can see what we're going to be talking about today.
So this is one of the I think hottest topic, and many our clients and patients struggle, and this is where the people have a disconnection, not understanding what to do with my physical body illness, the things happening, and to do with my emotions. So we want to dive into this deeper connection between those two, and hope we can decode some of the information so that we can empower them to create a better awareness.
So we'll be talking about emotions and the relationship between the body and signs and the different diseases or different conditions.
And this is going to be three bullet points that we are going to cover. So discovering how our immune system are able to interpret the messages coming from the nervous system and from the brain. And the second one, then move on to the mind-body connection, how emotion affect to the health. And then lastly, and we're going to go over together the Q&As, if you have any questions.
Oops, sorry. So then what it says is our immune cells are able to interpret the message that are coming from the nervous system and from the brain. Thanks to the research work, is now fully recognized that our nervous system and the immune system, they do not function separately. They are connected. What happens with one is affecting the other one. So then we need to understand that if there is something going on with our immune system, there is probably a connection with another system within our body that is having an imbalance. And that's why it's so important. And we recommend everybody to be aware of the symptoms that they have in their body, because the body tries to communicate to us what's going on if there is not balance in our body. So there is the central nervous system, it utilizes the cellular communication, and the communication has different purposes. So we send messages either to the nervous system from our body or the nervous system to the body. So we need to be in this constant awareness of what's going on within ourselves to be able to determine what's going on with our psychological state or our emotional state. Dr. Jyun will explain a little more how this connection is between all these different systems.
So one of the hottest topic in the neuroscientific world, there's a term called a PNEI. That's abbreviation of the psychoneuroendocrine immunologies. So this study has been really being focused in the last 4 decades. And what this connection is all about is when the Dr. Isabel talked about this, for how the nervous system connecting to the immune system, but bigger picture, if you look at that, psycho part of the mental, how we think, right, from our experience and the memories. Now the direct connection between the psycho part of it, sending a message to the neural, which is the part of the brain, and the neural network through the brain, between the brains, and also throughout the body. But how you communicate those brain using the neurotransmitter or neurohormones, those sending the messages to the endocrine centers. So then at the end, there's the immune system, there's communication between those neural system, the endosystem, which is the hormone system. Now they're having a complex information exchange to bring up to the optimized immune functions. So we're gonna dive into this most in the pivotal point of the insight, emotions and body connections.
So then your emotions are the language of your subconscious mind. That was done. This is a quote from Dr. Candace Pert. It is true that we store memory in our brain, but by far deeper and older messages are stored in the body. They have found, researchers have found that in our fascia, with this a really tiny, small lining of our muscles, we store a lot of trauma, conflicts, a lot of emotional baggage. And then in the future, it shows up as symptoms. So we can experience some pain in our joints. We can experience some even chronic conditions that are just a result of traumatic events or conflicts that we had in the future. We are quantum beings, we are energy beings. So everything within ourselves, what they have found when they go deeper in the microscope, they found that the cells, they have molecules, they have subatomic particles. And when you go deeper and deeper into that, they found that there is a big percentage, almost 99% of it, that is energy. So what we have in our body is energy flow. If everything is smooth, if everything is okay, it's in balance, that energy flow runs correctly, just like a wire in your house. If there is a good flow, you're going to have energy, electricity, you're going to have light. But if there is a blockage somewhere, then you will have problems and you won't have a light, or the electrodomestics are not going to work. The same thing with our body. If there is a trapped emotion, if there is a conflict, if there is a trapped blockage, if there's a blockage in our body in that energy flow, then we're going to see that it's going to affect our body at the physical level. So energetically is one way of how we get the blockages, but then we will see it at the physical level with some symptoms and some pain, some disease. So then what we were saying, as we are energy beings, everything around us is also energy. Even our thoughts and our emotions are energy. So when we have negative emotions, when we have anger, anxiety, when we have depression, these can be causing some problems, for example, on your heart. And on the other hand, if we have some positive emotions, we can see that patients, when they're under treatment, they respond better when their attitude is more positive, when they have a better perspective of their result or the healing process. So we see how, if we start talking about placebo effect, when you are thinking that the medicine or the treatment is going to work, you're going to have better results. People that are doing the opposite, when we have the nocebo effect, when you're thinking that something is going to cause problems for you, or you're going to respond, you're going to have an allergic reaction, or you're going to have some negative results because You're putting that thought in your head. So that energy is going to your body, and then you're going to have the results that you were thinking about. So those positive emotions can be acting as a protective role in the development of a disease. So we have some chemical reactions that happen in our brain, and that chemical reaction is going to be affecting, if it's positive or negative, our endocrine system, what Dr. Jyun was explaining. So we have the cycle. So what we're thinking, so if it's positive or negative, is going to affect our nervous system. If you're thinking about something negative, you're going to increase your sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight response, and you're going to have a little increase. So that's your nervous system. Then you go to the endocrine, you're going to have some elevated cortisol levels because you're under stress. Then what are we going to have after that? So the immune response is going to be a result. If you have chronic elevated cortisol levels, then you're going to have some problems with your immune system. Your immune system is not going to be responding as well. So that's why you can see how there is like a chain reaction. It's a snowball effect. That's why it's important to be aware of and be conscious of your thoughts and how you are responding to certain emotions.
So just Dr. Isabel to talk about the negative emotion from the mind and brain. Those are the risk factor to the coronary heart disease. So heart disease is the number one the disease in the United States among the whole entire chronic illness. So just to remind you, this the P and EI connection, what we discussed about. So emotion typically measured in those physiological response. So when you get stressed, when you have arrived facing the lions, now your heart will start pounding, start sweating. Okay, we need to run away. We're gonna fight, and the blood rushing into the face. So then there's a hormones, the adrenaline, the famous hormones, start releasing in the body to get in action, right? So we experience a variety of emotions throughout those days. But it is so important to have this different type of emotion, whether the negative or positive. This is very organic. This makes us feel we are living. It is a human life. So it's important to have that. But there's a difference between having the temporary emotions up and down versus the when you have a stagnated particular emotion that trapped into the for a long period of time. This is where the overwhelm the signal goes in a different organ system may lead to the different physiological illnesses. So those are the I'd like to present all those famous hormones, and probably many of you heard about it or seen it or experienced that different emotion connection to this neurohormones. So just name a few here so that we know the happy hormones. That's called the serotonin. So when this happiness, when you feel this immediately, when we get in the sense of those the release that happening from the brain, they will give you a right signal. When that happens in happiness, what do you feel? The sense of calmness feels like a stable. Right? So in the joy, those emotions that comes up. So this is really, really important hormones, the number one, right? So, and the second one, it's called the dopamine. This is the pleasure hormones. The rush of dopamine comes up, something we call the runner's high. When you try to run, when you get excited, we get pleasure start coming up. When the dopamine release happens, now what happens physiologically or emotionally, we are more focused and feel the sense of blissful, right? And then you feel very motivated to do something because that's just dopamine, the neurohormone, make us feel, certain way emotionally. And the next one is called the oxytocin. We all know love hormones, right? So when you feel sense of those feeling of the love, whether the sense of love for yourself or the others, the relationship, right? So this abundance of the hormone comes out, which by the way, this hormone, it comes out from the brain as well as they come from your heart. So we're not going to go into the deeper into the conversation today, but there's a huge connection between the brains and the heart. There's a four-way bilateral communication happens, and the heart has independent neurons and the hormones that they want to secrete. One of the hormones is called oxytocin. And next one is called empowerment. When you feel empowered these hormones, the particular hormone comes out, it's called endorphins. So acupuncture is a famous one. When you put these needles in, there's a study have done it. When you look at the brain scan, there's a massive amount of endorphin comes out. What endorphins? One of the greatest ones, as the acupuncture as a background, there's a painkiller. Basically, you're able to release, eliminate the sense of the pain, pressure feeding, but then that's gonna start creating this incredible empowerment, and then able to suppress those type of unnecessary negative emotions and feelings. So last two, this is very interesting. We presenting two hormones called cortisol and adrenaline. So we put as a chronic stress as a cortisol. Well, if this is okay to have this temporary, because when you are getting the fight and flight, now adrenal kicks in, they will get in the signal from the pituitary gland, send that signal, neurohormone signal going to the adrenal glands. And adrenal glands say, okay, I got it. We got to secrete more cortisol because we got to release the blood sugar. We got to elevate the blood pressure. So because we can do certain protections and against the enemies and from the certain situations. So the adrenaline is also the same things too. That does a very similar job. That pumps up you contract the blood vessel. So then your blood pressure goes up. Right? So then all the nutrients, things goes into the brains, extremity will get into the situation again. But any of those two hormones, we don't want to have the long term, because the long term effect of cortisol, there's we all know physiological problem, the increase of the Cushing disease. When you have a chronic depletion of the adrenal glands that cannot secrete enough cortisol, you get a chronic stress or chronic fatigue, syndrome. Those are related to Addison's disease. So those are the more serious diseases that we are encountering. So more and more people are getting this chronic stress and having this particular hormone that trapped long-term effect is going to start getting the cascade effect. So Dr. Isabel mentioned about that stress, how you take it positively as a stress or negatively, that's emotionally, that will change how your body secreted particular hormones. So it's really interesting study that we need to be aware more, and we need to dive into this emotional relation to the particular hormones.
So one of the things that we recommend people do is just to listen to their body and just listen to those signs and those messages that the body is trying to communicate. So we need to be able to interpret those messages, and we need to start learning how to speak the same language. And then that way, when we are more aware of what the body is trying to communicate to us, we're going to be able to heal more mindfully. So we need to ask, if we have for example, a headache, or we have a disease, we have certain conditions, we're going to say, what is this for? What am I learning with this condition? What is my body trying to communicate? Because what happens at the energetic level is going to be reflected at the physical level. So for example, if people have some allergies, so then you can start thinking, okay, what am I, who am I allergic to? Is there somebody in my life that I want to kind of keep away? And every time that I get in contact with this person, it creates an allergic reaction. Or am I having a sensitivity to certain things? And maybe go into your past. According to epigenetics, we have found, or we can, with research, they have found that what happens to us up to age 7 years of age, all these events that happen to us, they just get ingrained in our subconscious, and then it reflects in the future with some responses. And how we perceive things are based on our limited beliefs that we created when we were young. So it is important to just start doing some introspection, start analyzing, going deeper in our lives, and see what it is that is causing this. What's the origin? What's the root cause of the problem that we are having? There is a lot of information, and the majority of the information comes, as we talked at the beginning, we are focused on ancient wisdom, science, technology. And then ancient wisdom includes Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine. According to traditional Chinese medicine, we have meridians in our body, and then we have energy centers that run our body. So depending on what's going on, it could be that there is an emotional attachment to an emotion attached to certain conditions or certain imbalances. So it is important to start doing a little introspection and analyzing what is it that the body is trying to communicate. And people have found through asking the patients that have certain conditions, certain diseases, and this has been going on since 1976, that they started connecting different conditions with different emotions. And as we see on the next slide, for example, headaches, if we're having a headache, it could be related that something is wrong with us emotionally, or that we are repressing some anger. With traditional Chinese medicine, Dr. Jun might talk a little more about that. The anger is connected with the liver. But then we need to start finding out, okay, what is it that is causing this condition that my body is trying to communicate to us or to me. And then the other thing is ear problems. So when we have an ear problem, it could be related that we're not willing to hear something, or something that we're hearing, we don't agree with it, or that we are upset or angry of what we're hearing and we don't want to hear it. So there is a lot of connections that could be more like metaphysical, but when they do the studies, they have found that there is a very high connection with what they have researched. And then many cases that they just start responding with these different symptoms, and then they're related with the different traumatic events or conflicts. So for example, if we're having pain on our shoulders, it's because we might have a lot of responsibilities and we are like burdened by them. It's just too many responsibilities. If we are having, for example, some neck problems, it's like there's a little bit of stubbornness going on, something that we don't want to do, and we're stubborn and we cannot move forward. And then the body is just showing us as a neck problem, neck pain, or throat. What happens with our throat? The throat is the one that allows us to communicate with others. Is the throat chakra is where the thyroid is. So a lot of people that have throat problems, they might have some thyroid issues. They're feeling that they're not able to express their emotions, that they're not able to communicate what they want to communicate, and they're swallowing that emotional hurt or what they're feeling. So it is interesting how the body starts just kind of giving us some messages. And if you start connecting the dots, you will see that every emotion is attached to a part of the body that has a specific function. As I was saying, the throat, if you're having some throat problems or even thyroid problems, what is the function of the throat? The function is communication, and you're verbalizing. So if there is something going on, you might not be expressing yourself and your emotions. So you're not verbalizing, it's sending it to the world.
So this is where the our primary goal of body, what we try to achieve, this harmonic states, what's called a flow state. So anything that's not flowing in the body, so that when you get stuckness happen, the emotional stuckness appears in a different part of the body. This is one of the awareness that we need to have. So in the ancient wisdom, the Chinese medicine, just to take instant, for example, so I put this diagram here. There's a all interconnected relationship between, there's a Chinese character, 5 of them. I put it as a reference right next to each other. So first one's there looks like a tree, that's called a wood. Um, and this representing the liver and the emotion connections, anger. And there's a next one's called a fire. So the fire related to the heart and the emotion of the joy. And then following with the heart, there's gonna be the earth. It's called the spleen, stomach, pancreas. That's in the Chinese medicine. We put it in the same category. It's the emotion representation of worries. And then now followed by this metal. And that's representing a lung as emotion and sadness and grief. And lastly, but it's gonna be the circular motion. It's gonna going back to again, but the water representing a kidney in relation to the emotion of the fear. So kind of giving that little example, Dr. Isabel talked about the anger, right? So anger represented by the liver. So when the liver gets very angry in Chinese medicine, it creates the overabundance of energy that will start affecting the peripheral organ system, which is the elements. So if you look at that anger with wood, wood in front of the wood is called a fire. So that's going to affect the fire. And also there's another area goes to the earth that affecting the spleen and pancreas. So one really great traditional Chinese diagnosis that we often see in the clinically, there's called liver stagnation. Liver qi gets very angry. That overwhelms the digestive system. And often people have this constipation, loose stool, diarrhea. So if you go to traditional allopathic way, they'll look at the digestion, what's wrong with the digestion. But when you look at this whole awareness, interconnectedness, now we are going to ask the plants, the patients question. And what type of emotion that, do you have any challenges in the relationship, in the work circumstance? Most people start presenting, oh, I'm so frustrated, I'm so angry about the certain situations. And then we'll go, aha, now liver gets so overwhelmed to start attacking digestive system. So that our primary goes to calm down the liver, anger, and then supporting to this to support this pancreas and spleen. So now create a great harmony, create a flow states. So really our job is to bring up to the ancient wisdom and the modern science, and then bring into the introspection, deep dive into your body, see what's happening, and then how can I approach them in the holistic ways.
So there's some tips that we'll have, some recommendations that we will want you to start practicing. And everybody that is inclined into more holistic or more integrative approach should be doing this, not only to benefit your body, but just to benefit everybody around you. So we have the different things that
Yes,
you should be doing.
nice 3 steps. First, number one was avoid the stress. Of course, we don't want to avoid the stress, but we wanted to manage the stress. So if you encounter a stressful environment, of course, that's a great thing that if you can excuse yourself from that extreme circumstance, the stressful environment, of course, we're not going to receive this nervous system as a signal. So that's sometimes a great idea to excuse yourself from the stressful environment. Right? And the physical nutrition speaking, caffeine can be very irritant to the many neural signal and neural hormones. So that's a great thing to avoid. In the dairy, there's a many topic about this nutrition that dairy is not for the human consumptions. Many people believe that, of course, right? So dairy has a lot of the compound, the condensed nutrients that are very stressful and have so much abundance of hormones that little cow to become big cow within 1 year, right? Or become 1,000 pounds. We're not designed to become 1,000 pounds, so it's gonna be hard on the digestive system. So definitely we need to avoid those things. And also,
Refined carbohydrates and sugar.
yes.
Definitely, you should avoid
Mhm.
those. There's a lot of inflammation that comes from it. A lot of people that are going through chronic diseases, once they change their diet, once they stop the consumption of processed food, excess, especially carbohydrates and sugar, they will notice their improvement in their health and how they feel within a week, within actually a few days. You start noticing a lot of people that were diagnosed with arthritis, for example. Once they cut this from their diet, the symptoms, the pain, the discomfort in their joints disappears. So a lot of the chronic conditions are related with nutrition, especially with dairy, carbohydrates, refined sugar. So what we always recommend is to incorporate the most, not I don't want to say plain, but just what comes from the nature, what nature is giving you, without having to go through a process, through a transformation. So just the most plant-based and then organic as possible. We will definitely recommend that.
And one other part of it is because we have too much added neural signal, all the information, because all the stress that comes to our body. So we have most people have too overwhelming all the neural signal, the nervous system, right? So number one thing is to really, how can I slow down, calm down? So added benefit, we all know, so Dr. Prativa, the fourth say famous, you really encourage this, Ayurvedic way, ancient wisdom of yoga. It's great to really tone down, calm down the nervous system and also strengthen at the same time too, and create a more coherence, more centering yourself, with the grounding. And also there's nature tools. We have a mother nature creates the abundance for us called essential oil that smells through the olfactory. It's great added bonuses for us to help us calm down the neural signal, the nervous system, the neurotransmitters. So that's a great added bonus, isn't it?
And then having some probiotics as well, because we have really good bacteria that we want to feed, and then we have bad bacteria that we want to try to have under control. So it is important to have some probiotics that can manage that. A lot of the times, people can do some tests, because if you're not sure of what's going on with your gut health is very important. We have seen a lot of patients that have problems in their mouth. It is related with their gut. So there are many tests that you can do to see what kind of bacteria you have and where are the levels. And then you can just feed it with the right probiotics. The other practice that we highly recommend is just some meditation, any type of meditation or prayer, and then breathing exercises. That's really crucial to reduce the stress levels and then to improve your health and well-being.
In our website, we encourage 5 conscious actions that we always introduce 5 of them. There's a daily routine, the ritual that we need to create, conscious breathing. Number one, without the breath, we can't really survive. And conscious hydration, how much water we need to intake. Right? And then conscious nutrition, what we talk about that, and conscious movement. And last one, but most important, the conscious relaxation of resting and creating a great circadian rhythm. So when you have a balance of this whole signals, the homeostasis, it's difficult for the emotion goes to haywire. So we wanted to really focus on the fundamental things that we can do to empower people.
So we encourage people to visit our website. We have a lot of information. There's a lot of different knowledgeable experts that we interview, and they bring amazing information. Dr. Prativa was one of them, and she just has so much knowledge that we want the whole world to start learning from this knowledgeable experts. So you can visit us at isamizu.com, and then there is a link for our YouTube interviews, and you can just go in there and just learn more. We want everybody to achieve health and well-being, and it is possible to do it. So we're welcome all the questions that you have, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful presentation, really. It's everything that you have highlighted is so important because just any example, if you talk about heart health, the first thing you start getting tested for cholesterol and triglycerides, and no one is thinking, what's the emotional state of this person. Simple things that can be corrected without spending money, without putting chemical drugs in the body. And your last slide was just amazing because everything is available for free, right? The fresh air for breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And, small changes go a long way. If you can remove one thing at a time from your intake, like refined sugar,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
it can have such profound benefits
Absolutely.
overall. So this is really amazing. I would request all our attendees to come on video and please share your comments, questions. Anybody, please unmute and talk. Would you like to stop sharing so that we can see everyone,
Okay.
if you like?
Yes. That's all.
And if someone has not noted the website, please reach out to any one of us. We will definitely share the website again. Mridula, you were saying something?
Yeah, no, I have constant neck and shoulder pain, and I just didn't give it a thought that maybe I'm being stubborn or I'm taking on too much responsibility. So that's something I'm going to have to think and see, maybe that'll eliminate the pain. I don't know, but it's constant.
Yes,
So that
yes.
was good.
Yes.
I guess we all have. I do have a lot of neck issues, and then I'm stubborn sometimes, right? We want to try to do more than what we can handle, and then that
Right.
last slide with the tips. We need to do more meditation, more relaxation. We need to take care of our body. When we have pain, we need to listen to it because that is a message that we need to slow down and take care of ourselves. Something that I
Right.
love is just this analogy that when you're in an airplane and if there is a problem, who is the one that needs to put the oxygen mask first? We need to put the mask first, the oxygen first, before we give it to our kid or to somebody that we're helping. Because if we don't have it, if we're not okay, we won't be able to
Yes.
help others.
Right. And the idea is, I think, not to rule out any physical issue. I mean, that also you can definitely investigate because you don't want to leave something unattended in case it is there. But sometimes first eliminating what could be, something even postural, for example. Are you sitting too bent over? Do you want to have like a standing workstation and see if that works better? Or, the emotional state, just scanning that. So first rule out something that you can do at home. You can rule out these things easily. But yeah, definitely get investigated if in case there is some narrowing of disk space or something physical is happening. But it's you'll be surprised how often these simple negative emotions can also cause you to retain that pressure, that weight on the shoulders. This is the most common area where people hold stress, this and lower back. So it could be. You don't know, Rudra. You can try it.
Yeah.
Okay, I always say, tell patients, they present different symptoms. They come see me, right? So
Uh-huh.
number one thing that, well, we all have a different limited belief, right? So if you is a particular patient goes to allopathic doctor, they've done the scan, they don't shows up anything. So they say, well, if that's the only way that you can look at the body, then you cannot go beyond that. How can I help to heal? So we need to bring up the awareness means the micro become the macro scale. How can I see the body as a macro scale, the creating the body, the mind and the soul in an all integrated approach? It's necessary for us to keep sharing those, awareness. But you cannot ignore that those physical signs as well too. You're going to scan, make sure that there's no cancer cell. Okay, check.
Right.
Now, what we need to do, introspection, right? So we get the more tools available so to become more harmonically, healthier.
Yes. Yeah, none of my scan shows anything,
Oh, okay.
anything. So so it was
Okay,
Everything's
just like
then
solid.
my
you're good.
emotion. Yeah.
Then you must watch this presentation one more
Yes.
time in detail. Pause
Yeah.
it everywhere. No, you're absolutely right. The messaging in the public is such that we have been conditioned that just pay attention only to your physical parameters, what's coming in the lab and this and that. So I think as a holistic community, it's great that you're doing it, and we all need to do it more because we have to kind of override that message and we have to modify that message that no, that's not what you are. That's you're not limited to your just physical body. There's much more to you than that. So with enough messaging, I think people will start introspecting, that, maybe I should check my emotions. Oh, wow, I have been frustrated and I have been irritated, or, I have been terribly sad due to XYZ, and I need to kind of recognize that before I even start to heal. So I have to acknowledge it, and I have to start putting some, time, effort, and relaxation period on my list so that, I can start healing. So these are things that no one points out. In the healthcare system, you go, you get some blood tests, some this, that, some scans, and you just, you are operating in a chamber. That's it. But we are much more than that chamber. So this is such a good reminder and such a beautiful presentation you both had. I really liked it.
Thank
The
you.
colors and the, don't you agree? What
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lovely, visual delight as well.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
We always say is that we're quantum beings, and being a quantum human being means that we need to have a lot of different aspects. So if there is one thing that is going on, so if we having the neck issue, there is multiple areas that you have to look at it. And then there's multiple approaches that you need to use to be able to achieve the healing. We have found that we are like a little, the analogy would be it's like we're diamonds, but then we are covered with mud and then we're covered with rocks and cement. We need to start taking all this. So it could be the nutrition, it could be the emotional, it could be physical, it could be postural. So there are many, many different things that are covering that beautiful diamond that we all are. So we need to start discovering and start removing all these layers to be able to find our whole beautiful being that we are.
Well said. Well said. Exactly. And all the resources mentioned on your slides, they don't cost a dime. It's not something you need to go pay, you know, dollar amount to buy. It's just available, ready to be tapped whenever the individual is ready.
Yeah. And then the one of the most important things is knowledge and awareness. If you don't know, and this is why we love to share knowledge from experts, because if you don't know, you cannot help yourself. That's why you need to get
Exactly.
all the tools to be able to start practicing the right tips and doing the right things for your body and for your mind and soul and spirit communication. That balance that we need.
Absolutely.
So from your practice perspective, like what all do you guys do? Just curious.
So we doing the many type of consultation, working as a co-creator. So
Okay.
of course, as a practice we do, people come from many different reasons, emotional reason, or it can be cancer, or it can be diabetes or headache, many other reasons that they go around many traditional way to approach. But then some people went to advanced way, naturopaths, chiropractor,
Right.
acupuncture. But then yet they are not able to get to the point of this creating harmony or homeostasis. So often we wind up receiving the last result, many challenging cases, which make us exciting because they were ready to expand into the more unknown. So this is where we feel so excited to teach, those principles and it discovers to we use several different bioenergetic technologies. Yeah, one's from Germany, one's from the US, and one from the Russia. Those technology gave us opportunity to look at the subtle energy, what's behind the scene, what's where in this harmony. So that's a great tool for us to identify, compare with the Western medical way. So having that level of integration, more data, more analysis, make them trustworthy, make feel like, okay, I can see that this is the problem. Because we can tell you all day long, this is what we see. But
Right.
most people, you don't see the data, the information, validation, difficult for them to convince themselves to move forward, isn't it?
Mm.
Yes.
So this is we have that also technology. Constantly we're looking for the better technology because it's so great that advancements are happening all the time. So this is where the content being, we need to be content being, however, we need to be content being part of the technology available to look at the physical body.
We teach a
Okay.
lot about these different technologies because our goal is to empower people to take care of themselves and take care of their health. Of course, you're not going to stop going to your doctor, your physician,
Right.
because we need the blend, the perfect blend between the Eastern and Western medicine.
Mm.
Yeah.
But then we sometimes go to the doctor, to the medical practitioner, and we don't get the answers that we are looking for. But
Mhm.
if we get the tools, if we have the knowledge, we can start maybe guiding. We are co-creating with the medical practitioners our own health. So you can ask your doctor, well, maybe my estrogen levels are high because I'm having this symptom. So if you start helping and co-creating with your medical practitioner, then you will be having better results. So
Mhm.
then we teach a lot of this knowledge, and technology nowadays is just incredible. We were having an interview with a Russian practitioner yesterday, and then he developed a machine that only is mainly for physicians or practitioners, but he's creating one now that anybody can have at home. and it will
Okay.
give you a guideline or a baseline of how you are. So are your energy levels, your energy centers balanced? Is there anything out of balance, and what could be causing this? So then you can start having more ideas of what can be imbalanced in your body. There is
So
another.
is it more like a questionnaire kind of thing, or is it something that it scans the body? Like when you say it scans the body?
Scans the body, and they have algorithms, the data, that are very complex data system that they'll analyze them. So then
I
they'll
see.
relate to this meridian system, the chakra system. So you
Uh-huh.
can see the energetically what's out of balance in different organ system or
Oh,
chakra system, whether emotional out of balance, whether internal relation
right.
or external relation. So because chakra system shows up in two different ways, right?
Hmm. That's interesting. Okay.
Many different things that people can do. Just like Nirma, right? Nirma is your name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a Reiki practitioner, so she knows about energy.
Brutalize.
No, Mridula is.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. So you know about the energy and how
Hmm.
energy works and how we can help people just kind of release some of those energetic
Right.
or blockages.
Right.
So
But I'm
there's
like really interested that there's actually a tool that you can kind of look at the data, and convince people that, hey, this is what's going on with you. That's pretty cool.
there
Yes.
is actually multiple devices
Yeah.
now that you can use, and
I see.
they're very compact.
Mhm.
So they're not very big and they're not difficult to learn how to use.
So where do you buy this?
So
I'd be interested.
Contact us.
yeah,
We
so
can send
please,
us
Oh,
and we'll talk a
yes,
little more about
you can
that.
do a discovery call. We have a calendar. You can go through the website, and then
uh-huh.
we love to connect and then show the several different devices that we can be maybe useful for you or useful to somebody else.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. And people can use these things in their personal practices also, like,
right.
as
Yeah.
practitioner also. Yeah. Because I think one point that hit home to me that sometimes, the clients, their psychology, is such that they like to be tested for something, because just talking sometimes does not do
Doesn't help. Yeah.
it.
They want the proof.
That's,
They want the proof.
Yes.
And we also do some emotional decoding. I don't know if you know about that. And body decoding is also a lot of muscle testing and then a
Hmm.
lot of distance healing as well. We need
see, all kinds of new
blend.
things.
It's
Huh?
Yeah.
a blend, a collage of different techniques.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
Nilma, you had some question, I think, no?
Uh, I don't know. I do have, but I don't know whether it is relevant with this. Or I recently had my physical examination, and then my vitamin B and my vitamin D was low. And my doctor said that because of that, I might have a depression or stress, depression, something like that. So, what should I be doing? Like,
So when we talk about this whole as a holistic macro scale, number one, right? So the vitamin D, definitely, if you look at blood work shows the low. Number one thing is, are you going outside during the day? Because there's a difference between ultraviolet B versus ultraviolet A. So in the way you live, there's a table that you can go through. You can look at it. Say what time to what time zone you are receiving the UVB, which is that stimulates the body to produce vitamin D.
mhm,
So that's very critical information because many of the clients, they are working home all day long. They
yeah.
say, oh, after work at 4 o'clock, it's summertime, let's go outside and get sunshine. I'm not getting a vitamin D production. No, you're getting a UVA. That's a harmful radiation to your skin. So
Mm,
you're missing out the really critical points to increase the vitamin D, right?
yeah.
That just itself the one awareness that we need to look at it. So then there, of course, the emotion, connection to the emotion, how the emotion can deplete a particular the vitamins and minerals as well too. So that's getting into that little deeper part of this issues conversation, looking at from here. Okay, we're gonna look at the many different layers. So,
So
but
you can, I'm sorry. So you can definitely support your vitamin D levels and vitamin D naturally with food, for example.
yes,
So just looking at what are the different foods that are high in vitamin D and vitamin B, and then exposure to the sunlight definitely at the right time will be ideal. And but then it has to be a consistent. It has to be try to be daily, especially if your levels are low, and then having the right supplements as well, because
Mm,
our body needs you. It's not enough with the food sometimes if you're depleted. So you need a combination of things to attack it. And as Dr. June said, a lot of the emotional part as well, because vitamin D is big in anxiety, depression, and then just feeling kind of low. Vitamin so a B complex will be a great idea, and that's something that your doctor can prescribe you. So the right dosage for you, and then in the vitamin D and vitamin B, but then good quality supplements is
mm.
important as well. And that's something that you can find anywhere over the counter. They might not have the right things for you.
Yeah.
Are you a vegetarian by any chance?
No, no, no.
No. So, meet a practitioner who can assess like exactly why are you having a vitamin B deficiency. D is understandable because in New England, for 3, 4, 5 months, I mean, you're in
Yeah.
Texas,
Mm,
but still, because of our desk jobs,
mm,
sometimes we don't have the liberty to step out and get that sunlight, even if it's there. People like us who are in Boston, we don't get sunlight for many months.
mm,
So D, easily you can find a good quality D3 supplement
mm,
and just replenish it in the months that you're not able to go out, because
mm.
sometimes it's just your circumstances that prevent you from stepping out, and you
Yeah.
have to have the sun exposure for manufacturing D. B will always occur only if you're not eating properly. B cannot, only vegetarians can get B deficiency because, they don't take the, meat and meat products.
Okay.
But if you're not a vegetarian, then certainly there is something that is, some dots have to be connected.
Mm,
Of course, you replenish what is lacking for now so that you are beginning to feel better. But it's important to investigate what is causing the B deficiency. D is not a surprise.
okay.
D is not a surprise.
Okay.
90% of the people have low D
Mm.
numbers. So it's not at all surprising because most of the people are working indoors. How many people are working outdoors? Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
never knew that these will also like cause symptom depressed or mood depressed, something like that. I never knew that before. So
oh, D is very important. It's connected to many systems health, many organ health.
And also, I think adding to Dr. Prativa's information too, of course the body knows how to metabolize coming from the natural food, right? The organically available vegetables, right? But when you get into any synthetic pills, body is not designed to break down particular dose information, especially condensed, right? So it is a helpful tool, the temporary booster, right? When you're
Yes.
in trouble. But as a long term, we look into your body type, especially Ayurvedic. If you look at that, what type are you? So that's very complex. You look into Dr. Prativa's specialty. Look at that. Your types. You gotta eat that food according to your type. They are very specific, very critical, right? So now body can assimilate all the nutrients. Otherwise, they should go in doing a completely wrong way, right? Even somebody says paleo diet is great, pescatarian is great, right? All those the concept out there, but what is right for you is very important. So I think
Yeah.
that's what I think we need to emphasize that.
Yes. But yeah, take it as a initiation of a journey of your own connection with yourself, and finding out more about really, what are you doing, and probably what you're not doing, what is contributing to these kind of outcomes in your life. So I mean, health is, first of all, health starts with a connection with yourself. That's very important. When we give the whole agency to someone else, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to even participate in it. You figure out for me. It's like putting someone else in the driver's seat all the time. So that is the part we are trying to change at Holistic Health Alliance, that, you need to be the agent of change for yourself. There's no other way that works best, because no one else knows what you feel what you are experiencing, right? And oftentimes what you're experiencing is not even understood by the medical world, because things like, I'm experiencing brain fog. Brain fog is not even a medical term. Now it is being repeated so much that people are, the medical fraternity is thinking of making it like a medical terminology, because of Lyme's disease and all that. Brain fog is being something, that it's becoming a very common symptom that is being reported. But the message I'm trying to give is that there are many symptoms that may not fall under medical terminology, but that does not reduce your experiencing them. You know what I'm saying? That it's very real for you. It doesn't matter if that is a medical terminology recognized or not. But if you are describing in your own terms, that experience is very real for you. It's happening to you. So you should pay attention to it, and you must investigate. Even if you can follow that one slide that Isabel and Dr. Jun shared, the one where breathe properly, eat properly, manage your stress, that itself can change hundreds of things, because that's a powerful one, because we don't breathe half the time. We are breathing only shallow breathing. No one is breathing fully. Less oxygen all the time in the blood. Obviously negative hormones will be secreted more, right? We all should be doing belly breathing. Inhalation, belly should be coming out so the lungs expand properly, full oxygenation happens. And when you exhale, the belly should go in. Simple things, but how many people know and how many people are practicing? That is the question, right? If you eat packaged food has very low vitality. What has most vitality is fresh from the nature. So if someone is eating most of the times packaged food, that prana, what we call life essence, the vitality, will be very low. So you're feeling tired and fatigued all the time. So eating is a very important ritual. We don't pay enough attention to it. It's like meeting is going on, something is going. That there is a packet or there is a plate. What is going? What what has it come from? There's absolutely no connection. Do you all agree? Like, packaged lunch meetings are becoming so common. Who's paying attention? Something is going in the mouth. But eating should be a very sacred ritual, because we are what we eat. These are simple mantras, but we're so disconnected from all of that. It's like health is something someone is going to give me in a pill and I'm going to get healthy. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Every little thing we are doing with our body, we are putting in our body, we are exposing our body, engaging our body with, and mind. Wherever I said body, mind also, bring the mind also, emotion also. Everything contributes to your baseline of health. The health is not magic, and that's why illness is also not magic. Illness happens, brews for a long time before it presents as like a full-fledged illness, and it gives enough signs on the way. Enough signs. So we have to trust ourselves. We have to believe in ourselves. Sometimes we are ignoring our own signs. It's okay, something is happening, but I'll still work my 12 hours and, do the usual schedule. So we are also not listening to our body half of the time, most of the times. But when the car gives a red light, we immediately will take it to the mechanic. How, yeah.
A lot of people are not doing things that bring them joy. So you become like a little hamster on the hamster wheel, spinning and spinning, doing the same thing over and over. But then you're not thinking about what brings you joy, and doing at least one activity a day. It can be as simple as sitting quiet and drinking some tea, or just sitting for a few minutes reading your favorite book. Something very simple every day will start switching that switch that is low and is causing some changes or imbalances in your endocrine system, just by changing one little thing a day, few minutes. So just
This
think
is
about
lovely. This is lovely. You
simple.
know, this goes in my all my emails to my clients that do one thing that gives you joy, because the definition of health, the second line of definition of health in Ayurveda is prasanna atma indriya manaha swastha ityabhidhyate, means a joyful state of mind and soul.
Mhm, mhm.
First line is samadosha samagnishcha samadhatu malakriya, means harmony, equilibrium in your physiology, in your body. So equilibrium in everything, homeostasis in everything. But that's not enough. In addition to that, you should have a joyful state of existence. So
Yeah.
how many people take time to smile, laugh, bring that joy in their being? So that's a very important one. Wow, we really align on that a lot, and that is something we no one pays attention, right? It's just that my BMI is okay, my HbA1c is okay, and my blood pressure was okay. So I must be healthy, but I feel terrible. You know.
And then something else that we always recommend is being grateful.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
So we all have, or if we don't have a calendar, we have a phone. Just put it on your phone and make it as part of your schedule.
Yep.
5 minutes of just something that will bring you joy, and just a couple of minutes of being grateful for something that happened in the day, or even in the morning. Wake up and just be grateful for waking up and being alive. So little simple things can make a huge difference.
Huge difference, huge difference. It really shifts you from seeing the half glass full, sorry, half glass empty to half glass full.
Yes, that's so true. That is true. And
Yep.
sometimes it's hard, because when you are busy, when you have a lot of responsibilities, when you're not happy, when you're in a little state of depression, you don't want to do anything. But we have to force ourselves. By forcing ourselves, you'll see that the results are going to be very noticeable within a few days.
Mhm.
And then you will enjoy those 5 minutes that you're going to give to yourself.
Start journaling.
Journal.
Put it on
Journaling, yes, yes,
journaling is important too. Yes.
yeah.
Make
With gratitude messages, because when we are in our own bubble, we see our problem so big. It's like you're standing next to the mountain. Obviously, it's going to look big. If you zoom out, it's really not a big deal. We really expand our problems in our own minds more than that they are, and thinking about it too much really does not help, right? So shifting to something that you have on a daily basis. I have this. So the biggest blessings are if you have warmth in your stomach, which is food on your table, warmth outside of your body, which is shelter, and a bed to sleep, you're the most blessed in the world. Everything else is a bonus. Your car and your costumes or your shoes or whatever it is else you have are bonus. So, this is a shift. It's a shift in perspective, it's a shift in thinking, and you become what you think. If you continuously are spiraling down the route of this is not there, that is not there, this is not happening, that is not happening, that's how you will continue to think, and your emotional being is going to be like that. You slowly shift. It's like from one highway, you're shifting to another highway, which is much better. It's wider, it's more secure, right? More safe. So you start shifting there one at a time. Every day, one thing new. And you will be surprised how many things there are to be grateful for. Even having all five toes, for example.
yes.
It's funny. One of my pharmacist friends, she's so active. She broke her pinky one day, and she had arranged for her daughter's graduation party. And she said, for the next 15 days, I realized how valuable my toe is. Because when you have it, you have no value for it. Everything that we have, the fingers we have, the eyes we have. I'm telling you, once you start the activity, it's very uplifting, and it's going to blow you away that I never thought I have so much. Suddenly you'll start thinking, my God, I have so much. From I don't have this, I don't have that, You know what I'm saying? So, and that changes the energetics inside you. It's beautiful to see the transformation. Actually, we are speaking the same language, and it's a delight to hear this because this is what I talk about all the time. Beautiful, beautiful. I hope this was helpful to everyone.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yes,
something
thank you.
different, right? Yeah, we usually don't end up thinking that these could also contribute to the way we feel. We always go for, let me get my blood tested. Everything is not in your blood. There's so many things that are in your heart, in your mind, which is not even an organ. Mind is the only thing that can travel without ticket, right? No need to book any ticket. My mind can go to India right now, like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if we kind of, you know, rein in this mind, just little discipline, little, sit down. That is what is mindfulness. Sit down, baby. Just chill, relax.
Where are you gonna go, Nirma, with your mind?
To a
Still
happy
full
place.
of beautiful smiles.
Thanks.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we need more of this. And I hope, as if you have enjoyed this session, we have a little less attendance. Obviously, we're in summer, so, people are more out. But people are going to watch on YouTube. We have started putting on YouTube now. But please do spread the word about Holistic Health Alliance if you feel comfortable, because this is something, I'm doing, just because I'm passionate about this. It doesn't pay me any money or anything. It's just something all of us, everyone who's on the call, one way or the other, we're all passionate about well-being, wholesome well-being.
Yeah.
So, all
Yep, it
right.
feels
Thank you
really
so
good.
much.
It feels good to be connected, with other folks, like-minded folks. So thanks
Yeah.
for doing this, Pratibha.
Thank you, Mrudula. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rohini. Thank you, Corey. We didn't get to see you much, but thank you so much for coming. And thank you, Nedma. And most of all, thank you, Dr. Jun and Isabel, for taking out time. And we need more of this. We need more and more. So let's echo it more and more. And hopefully, we will be able to shift how the community thinks and lives and looks at health and wellness. It's not a mystery. We can all do it ourselves. We have the power.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And please stay tuned to our next month's talk. So check us out on the website, on Facebook, on Instagram, holistichealthalliance.org, and of course, isamizu. All right. Stay well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.